What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today I want to talk about Patamon. I'm doing another one of these Digimon profile things. We'll see how the views go. This might end up being the last one if they continue to not be quite as popular as my other Digimon videos, because let's face it, want to bring you the videos you want to see. Any feedback? Let me know in the comment section. But if the series does stall, we are not going to stall it before we get to talk about Patamon. Patamon is one of the controversial Digimon. You see, the first Patamon we ever got was in the original promo pack, which was basically the first Digimon TCG product ever. And it's become a very controversial card, with many people thinking it's absolutely over the top, silly, amazing, awesome good, and a bunch of other people going, well, it's incredibly situational. And the fact of the matter is, both of those viewpoints are true. It is over-the-top silly good, and it is entirely situational. The real question then becomes, are you going to be able to use it enough for the silly good to overcome the situationalness? Now, the 2000 power does look extremely low. Weirdly enough, not only is it not the weakest Patamon, it is actually joint for the beefiest Patamon, which in a way is kind of strange. The 0 cost to evolve is standard, 4 cost to play normally is very expensive. And the general rule we've seen from the card designers in this game is really good coming into play skill. Oh, yeah, we're going to make your coming into play cost a little bit more, which is exactly what we see here. You got to pay 4. But when you play it, if your security is 1 or 0, you recover 1. You place 1 card from the top of your deck as an extra security card. Now, this is not going to build up your security. So if we look at a card like the Seraphamon from New Evolution, for instance, not only does that just get recovery 1 normally, it's a level 6, right? They're not comparable in terms of recovery in that regard. But it's also got a skill whereby if you've got free security or more, you get security attack +1. Patamon does not have your back. It is not going to help you here, because it's only going to get you from 1 to 2 or from 0 to 1. And here's my biggest issue with this Patamon. If I have got 2 security, 3 security, 4 security, 5 security, or more than 5 security, this is a vanilla card with bad stats. And that's not a subjective view, that's an objective view. 4 cost to play normally is expensive for a level 3. 2000 power is low for a level 3. If we purely want to look at yellow cards, we could look at something like Tinkermon, for instance, which is both 1 cheaper and 1 more powerful, or 1000 more powerful, and is a bad card. So there is no reason whatsoever to play this unless you're getting the skill. Tinkermon, incidentally, is still worth playing because when you play Patamon, you can play a Tinkermon from your discard pile or your hand without paying the cost. So Tinkermon does actually become good purely in the context of having Patamon, and that is it. Okay. And similarly, if I want an inheritable skill, how about Labramon? Labramon, on your turn, if an opponent's Digimon is destroyed because its DP is reduced to 0, you get to draw a card. And there are a million cards out there, like Mistymon, for instance, that will lower your opponent's power, hopefully down to 0. The other thing to remember about Labramon is it is not limited to once during your turn. So if I play a Mistymon and manage to reduce 2 of my opponent's Digimon's power by 3000, and both those Digimon are destroyed, I draw 2 cards. So what I'm saying is, if you want to play this Patamon, you've got to have faith in this Patamon. The stats are not good. We have better options. There is no inheritable skill. And at least with Labramon, we've got at least one really, really good option for a level 3 with an inheritable skill. but it's got recovery. Not only does it have recovery, it's got recovery when you only pay 4 memory. Yes, I told you about that Seraphimon with recovery earlier, and that is only a free cost to evolve, but that is on the assumption that you've got a level 5 waiting on the field, which you may well not have. There is a Magna Angemon that lets you recover 1 when you play it, but the problem is it's a 7 cost, so you're paying 7 rather than 4. And similarly, we've got Holy Wave, which is an option card that will just recover 1, but again, it's a 6 cost rather than a 4 cost. This Patamon is the cheapest recovery that we've got. If you've got 0 or 1 security cards, this is the best option for getting those security cards back. I do not think this Patamon instantly becomes the best option. It is weak. No, to be fair, it's not weak compared to other Patamon, but it is weak compared to other level 3 yellows. There is no inheritable skill, and if you're not evolving it, you're paying more than you would be for other Digimon. In fact, there are 2-cost yellow Digimon out there. So you could literally be paying half the cost and getting a yellow Digimon down on the field. Yeah. So my point is this. It has a phenomenal ability, and I'm not arguing about how good the ability is. It is clearly a phenomenal skill. You will get no argument from me. But unless you're using the skill, it is a very, very bad card. So the question is, how often are you going to be able to use the skill? How often are you going to have this in your hand when you use the skill? But then again, we've not seen any real hand disruption in Digimon so far, and you're not expected to discard cards from your hand to pay for other cards like in a game like Marvel Champions or Final Fantasy, so maybe you can just stash it in your hand and hold it there till the end of the game, and I think a lot of the time that's what you're going to do. Now, we did get a Patamon in the starter set. It's got 1,000 power, which is pitiful. The cost is in line with what we expect, but 1,000 power is pitiful. Once per turn, if an opponent's Digimon's power becomes 0 and is destroyed, like if we use Mistymon for instance, you gain 1 memory. And my thought about this is extremely simple. Do you prefer it to Labramon? Because it really is as simple as that. I think the decision comes down to Patamon or Labramon. Labramon gets you an extra card, but is not limited to once during your turn. Patamon gets you extra memory, and is limited to once during your turn. Is it better to have extra cards or extra memory? Like pretty much every single question I ever ask in my business lessons, it depends. Clearly, if you've got a handful of cards and you need more memory to play them, you want the memory. Clearly, if you've got 10 memory and no cards in hand, you want the cards. So, yeah. I wish I could give you a better answer here. It really does depend on the situation. They are both very, very strong inheritable skills, mind you, and I think a lot of the time in yellow decks, you probably are going to be choosing between them. Now, there is one other Patamon that we've seen so far, and it's got another coming into play skill. It is the one from New Evolution, and stats-wise it kind of fits between the other two. It is the same cost, but more powerful than the starter deck one, and it is the same power, but lower cost than the promo. So clearly here, in terms of pure stats, this is the better of the Patamon. But these are level 3 Digimon, right? When it comes to level 3 Digimon, you're either using it for the ability, or you're evolving up from it and getting an inheritable skill, or you're just going for the beefiest one. So you're only ever going to play these Patamon for their skills. If you're not playing it for the skill, you're going to play a vanilla Digimon because they're inherently better anyway. We've got a Leomon here that's got 4,000 power as a level 3. Clearly, that is the one we are going to go for if we don't care about the skill. This is clearly the best option because it's still a free cost, but it's a 4,000 power. So clearly that one's better. This skill here on this particular Patamon, when you play it, you reveal the top 4 cards of your deck, any yellow Tamers go into your hand, and the rest of them go on the bottom of your deck in any order. And this is an extremely situational card. This isn't like a lot of the others where I'm thinking, depends, on this, that, and the other. No. It depends on one thing. Do you need your yellow Tamers? If you're playing a deck that revolves around yellow Tamers, this is a phenomenal card. If you're not playing cards that revolve around yellow Tamers, this is an absolutely objectively bad card that you should not even remotely be considering. Now, having said that, in New Evolution, we've got the 4-cost yellow Tamer. It puts your memory up to 3 if it's not already there at the beginning of your turn. And when you play it, you look at your security cards, find one, put it in your hand, and then if you took a yellow card, you play an extra card down to replace it as a security card. As a side note, if you take a non-yellow card, you are literally getting your opponent closer to winning the game. It is something I would not recommend strongly, even a little bit. And then, of course, we've got the yellow Tamer from the starter deck. My favourite one from the starter decks. It's a 2-cost, but it gives all of your security Digimon an extra 2,000 power, and it does stack. So the theory here, very simply, is if you play a bunch of these down, you can significantly increase the chances that your opponent is going to end up being destroyed by a security Digimon rather than being able to attack into and survive. So you know what, ladies and gentlemen? I'm cool with this. I am absolutely cool with it. But this is very much a situational card if you're evolving around yellow Tamers. The one with the inheritable skill is purely down to that or Labramon, and the promo can be absolutely broken, but it is so situational, you are going to need to weigh up the chances you're going to have it in hand at the right time. Now, having said that, you can stash it in your hand for the majority of the game, so maybe it's worth it anyway. But I'm over to you now, ladies and gentlemen. I want to know what you think. I would be delighted to hear your thoughts and opinions on all of these Patamons, so let me know in the comment section. Go nuts, be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wossy, where we talk Digimon and a whole bunch of other games, and please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, all kinds of fun stuff. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wossy Plays.